Here we are. Today we're going to look at some of the new features from the Sveaverken steering kit. So back in the spring they updated the system with what they called their spring update. I thought today we'd have a little look at some of the new features, go through it in a bit more detail for you. One of the new features is called PPP signal, which is a satellite based signal, meant to be quite accurate. We're on the sea drill, we're going to test that out today. We are going to look at the new feature of the Headland auto steer, so it'll give you a guidance line basically around the headland, so I'll show you how to set that up. We're also going to look at the new Tramline feature, which is my personal favourite thing out of it all, and that will make sure that we never ever get our tram lines wrong. And also people coming into the field afterwards, fertilising, spraying, whatever, they can follow the tram lines as I lay them down, even if the crop isn't out the ground. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. Anyway, we're just approaching the field in question. It's quite a big field. It's a bit of a murky day here in England. We've been plagued with bad weather once again, but we are going again. We're planting wheat. We now have two systems in place, and at the end of this video I'll share with you something exciting coming in the next coming months. Discuss that with you at the end. We're coming into a new field. We always drill it from outside to in, so we do our headland work first and then we do our straight line work. So I'm going to show you how the headland tram lines work. So we're going to add a new field. Right, so we're on our pond field. We've selected our pond field. Create a boundary. We're going to call it something, and at the same time we can do our AB line as well at the same time. So as we're driving around the field, we're going to put an AB line in the same time, as well as creating a boundary around this field, because I've never driven around this field, so you get to see how you do it all. We're going to call it boundary name pond. If you were, let's say we were drilling this field from inside out, what we could do here is put a headland distance, and our distance on this drill would be 24 meters. So we could put in here 24 meters. We put that on the inside, and that would put, so our boundary mark will be on the edge of the field here, because it's going to mark it with a drill, and it would leave you like a field marker within the field, so you know where to pick your drill up and down nice and accurate when you're doing your inside out work. So that's a top tip there. Anyway, we're not going to do that because we don't need to, because we're doing it the other way around. So we're on 0. We're going to make a boundary. So simple record. When we get into a corner, if we get to a point where we have to reverse, we have to pause, reverse ourselves, get lined up again, and then resume. And then once we've gone around the field, it'll make us a line, and then you choose how many passes you want to do. We're going to do 6 because that gives us a nice big area to turn on, and then I'll show you that as we go. We're in position. We've positioned ourselves right in the corner. Look, done off your implement. So we hit record. We're going to use the left hand side of our implement, as you can see here. Okay, we drop our drill down, and we simply just drive around the field. Obviously it's quite a big field, so I won't take you all the way with me. It's using the outside drill as the marker to mark the field, and it's very accurate. At the moment we're drilling with RTK, and then we're going to move on to the PPP signal, and I'll show you how good that is. You can see it on the screen marking our line as we go. Once you put a headland, once you've used the headland feature, you can then do U-turn. You can use the U-turn feature, so the tractor will cover the whole field for you. It works better with a trail machine on this job, just because the weight is always picking the front tyres up. So nice curved edge here. We can go up a gear, I think. Anyway, we're going to get ourselves driven around the field. We've got a pond in the middle that we're going to have to contend with. Once you've done a boundary as well, you get an area. You get an area that you're covering, and that way you can check against seed rates and make sure your seed rates are right. You know, you count how many tons you're putting in versus how big the field is and what your seed rate is, and you can get a fair idea of how much you're putting on the field for your seed rate, so that's good as well. We will talk another day about farm management system, and you can program most of this stuff in before you even get to the field from your computer at home. We'll talk about that on a separate video, but for today's video we're just going to show you the Headland boundary mode. I should be putting in an A and B, which I've forgotten, but I've still got time. So we just use this straight edge of the field here for our AB line, like that. So we put our AB line in as well. The first time round is just a little bit more concentration than there normally would be, just trying to remember to do everything and do what your job do your job as well. And the other way to do that is to drive around the field first, mark the field out first, and then you've already done that part of it. But you can do it while you're working, like we are. So we get to the field, we lift the drill up, we press pause, we get ourselves realigned. The double beep is to tell me the seeder has stopped seeding. We get ourselves realigned back into the corner. Down with the drill, and then play button to keep recording. And like that, you have to do that in every corner. Every corner where you're going to shunt, you have to pause. Right, we'll get to the end and then I'll show you it working. So we're coming up to the end of the boundary. We've managed to do it all perfect this time. And we get back into the corner, put the drill on the corner, we lift up, press pause, and we press save. There's our boundary. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to go to a new guidance line. We've got two separate new ones. So this one here will cover the field twice in two separate paths. So if you're doing something like harrowing or rolling and you want to cover the field twice but evenly, you would select this one and it would give you a double path across the field. But we are just going to do our headland because we're seeding. Right, so you press enter. Reserve safety distance. If you're working very close next to a fence, you can give yourself a working safe distance from the fence. We're not, we don't need any of that. We would like 6 times round. You can, that number will go up to 99, so you can work your way round and round the field if you want to. And then we hit OK. That's what our field will look like. And there we go, we've got a boundary line around it. Now in the corners, I have used this feature in the summer. I'll just get myself set up. But in the corners, you don't want to be, you know, it's going to try and steer you around in one path. So you always want to get yourself, drop the drill down. You want to get yourself somewhere close. The computer will take over. And we should be recording our stuff as well. I haven't done that. Right, I've not used this feature a lot, so you're seeing it as it happens. So we'll see how it does. Now in theory, you shouldn't need that marker on, but I always leave it out just in case, especially on headlands, so you know where to drive if the worst happens. So we're coming up to a bend. You know, and it should steer us around the field. When I used it in the summer, I thought it was a bit too aggressive with its corrections. Even on a straight run, it seemed to be quite aggressive, steering left and right, but with software updates they will sort that out. And the other thing I thought is once you've recorded your field and they've got a boundary, if they could, on the screen you can see there's lots of little tiny defects. If they could smooth that out so the steering is smooth all the way around the field, that would be a big improvement. But it's on the line, look. Let's go up a gear. It just seems to be quite overcorrected. So anyway, the Sveaverken people are always monitoring this stuff, and they will make any necessary updates as they seem fit. We might be going a bit too fast, but there we go. It will do the whole field like that for you. You've just got to take over in the corners because we're seeding. The lines are set out to go right round the field. So yeah, pretty good, especially at night time or on a rough field where you can't see your markers. Sometimes, for me today I wouldn't use it because I can see the mark nice and clear, but on certain days, especially at night time, you can't see that line, you can't see the mark, and then you're guessing. So that's a really good feature. I think it needs to be polished. I think there's some polishing to do within the system. It needs to be less aggressive. It needs to be smoother the way it goes around the field. If they can do that, it'll be really, really nice. But it's better than me leaving, gaps everywhere. We will switch over to PPP signal in a minute. I'll show you how to do that. I'll let this thing drive itself around the field a couple of times, and then we'll switch over to PPP. We're going to move on to changing the source. So we were on RTK. Now we're going to use what is called, it's a new feature, and it comes with these screens free of charge. You don't have to pay anything for it. It's called PPP. We're in Europe, so we select, let me show you where we are here. Correction source, PPP. We're in Europe, so ours is Galileo. And then we go back. Now, that's fine. What will happen here, as it changes over to PPP, we'll get a little yellow icon. There we go. Now this little yellow icon in the corner, that tells you it's connecting. This process can take up to 20 minutes. So while we're drilling out our headland, it will connect, and then I'll show you, we'll drill the whole field using PPP. We'll see how accurate it is, see what we think of it. Then we'll move on to the tramline feature to finish off. It took 8 minutes that time. Which is faster than usual. Usually it takes longer than that, but 8 minutes is that's good. By the time you've warmed your tractor up and got to the field, you're connected, aren't you? Even when you're when you first go to your tractor and start it up, it's not a big deal. 10 minutes is not a big deal. That's the fastest I've ever seen it connect. So I have seen it take longer. I've seen it take up to 20 minutes before, so that's pretty good. But we're driving in an open area and we're in the field, so if it's not connecting and you're around buildings and stuff like that, just move yourself to an open area and it usually connects pretty quick then. So yes, not too bad. 8 minutes. Must know I'm recording today. Hey, they did say, over time this PPP service is going to get better and better. You've got two options. You've got SBAS and then you've got PPP. SBAS will connect pretty much straight away and you'll go in, and SBAS is good enough for most operations in the field, but when you want something a little bit more accurate, you've got to switch to PPP. I'll get me, what we'll do is we'll drill out the headlands, we'll set an AB line up, one side of the field, we'll start this side of the field, and we'll work our way to it, and at the end we'll see how good it is. Right, so we're just about to set our first straight line up on the field. Let's just come to the left hand side of our mark. So we want to be down there somewhere. We'll overlap first time, always do, but it's better to overlap than underlap. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from our headland mark, we're going to go back into the field. We're going to go into our guidance line, and where we made our first guidance line, we click on that. That's our AB. You've got your headland mark here. You can have multiple guidance lines on there. You know, if you want one going that way and one going that way, and then a drill line, you can. We can also edit this one, call it the drill line, and that way, every time I come back to this field, I can select the drill line here. Let's edit it. Let's call this pond drill. We're going to turn on our tramline features. How do we do that? Oh, there we go. And then we want an interval. Now the interval is how many in the middle between your tram lines. So we want that to be 4. And then every 5th one will be your tram line. So you've got 4 in the middle, and then so you'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So every 5th one will be your tram line. Right, what we're going to do, because this is our first one across the field, we just move ourselves over a little bit. That way when the sprayer man comes, he won't miss any. So we're now on PPP signal. And this is our first straight line. And we will work ourselves, we will start ourselves from the other side of the field, and we'll work our way across the field, and we'll see how accurate it is when we come to the end. I won't shift anything, I'll just leave it as is, and we'll see how accurate it is to drill a field on. But from what I've used in the summer, it's been very good. None of our other tractors will get RTK, they will all be using PPP. That's the low seed alarm, so we'll come back after I've filled up with seed. While we've got the low seed alarm coming on, it's a good time. We're the furthest point away from the seed at the moment, so we've got our camera here. Once the alarm goes off, you don't really know how much is back there, so it's always a worry of whether you've got enough. So we can see in our tank, that's how much we've got, and we can work our way across the field and make sure we've still got seed in the tank when we get to the other end. So I really like the camera, and they've improved the camera as well. There used to be a bug where it shut the system down, but they've improved that, and it's very good. Right, there is our first straight line, and we will see if that all matches up when we come back to it. We've filled up the drill with seed. We're ready to go again. We're just in a bit of a corner here, but I want to see how good it is when we get back to our straight edge on the other side of the field. So I'm going to drill my way across the field. I shan't change anything, and when it's all come out of the ground, we'll come back and inspect all the lines and see how straight they are. But at the moment, there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference with the RTK at the moment. But with RTK, I know for a fact it will be bang on, even if we went away for a few, even if we went, and we saw it in the spring where we went away, it was this field actually, drilled half the field, set the tram lines up, one half of the field was too wet, so we came back and then matched in the tram lines, and it looked like I'd been out and drilled it as one field. So yeah, that's what you get with the RTK. We'll see how this does though. The straight line performance is pretty good. When you just fill up with seed, you're a little bit heavy on the back wheels, so it struggles to find its way. Whenever you've got a heavy implement on and you're lifting the front wheels up, it does struggle just to find its own way, so you have to just be a little bit gentler bringing it on. But the straight line performance, it looks pretty good. I never really pay too much attention to this. This is always constantly going one way or the other. For this field in particular, we're not actually drilling tram lines, just because the field's delicate and Farmer's spray tractor has a different system on it and it won't marry up, and we don't want to leave ourselves two sets of tram lines. So we're actually drilling this one without tram lines. But let's say that we were coming onto a tram line now and we want to mark all our tram lines across the field. We've turned it on the field settings. We press our button here, press OK. Now across the field, every time we're on a yellow mark, we could verify it with our seed box to make sure that we're on a tram line. And it's just another way of making sure you're right on the field. So I really like this feature, and in the spring we'll be using this, well, we'll be using it every single time. But for the purpose of today, we're not actually drilling tram lines, so we don't need markers at all really. I just like to see how straight everything's running. I can look up the field and see how good it is. That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. This field is 15 hectares. Times that by 2.47 to give you your acres. Once you've done a boundary and you're marking the field, it will tell you how much of the field you've done. It'll tell me, you know, at various speeds how much you're covering. It's really good. You know, lots and lots of information that you can use. So as we work our way across the field, every time we come onto a yellow mark, I know that we should be drilling a tram line, and I can make sure that the box is telling me, my seed box is telling me the same, and it's very good. The other feature is on this thing as well is the Isobus feature with sectional control, which tallies in with everything you're doing as well. It's a little bit out of my league, the Isobus. I've never used it before. We haven't got any implements with it, but maybe future implements. We have got the kit to put on if we ever get any implements that have it. It would be for like fert spreaders, maybe a seeder with Isobus and sectional control. You could have your seed spouts, and what would happen is as you come into the coloured areas, it would start shutting off your seed spouts one by one, so you don't overseed too much. That would save you a bit on seed costs. And the same for fertiliser. When you're applying fertiliser, as you come into a corner, it starts shutting it off and adjusting the spreader so you don't overspread in the corners. So that's all done through Isobus. With Isobus, it comes up on this screen and you don't need this anymore. So everything's controlled through here. But I haven't had to use it, and I haven't had a chance to use it. But I imagine that'll be pretty good. Some of these fert spreaders, you can tell them that you want 200 kilos, or you can select your rate of application, put it in the box, and you just drive at any speed across the field. The moment you come into an area like this, it starts spreading it at that rate, no matter how fast you go. If you go up a gear, it chucks it out a bit faster. If you go down a gear, it goes a bit slower. So it's all done for you. Very clever stuff, as long as it's all working right. But we like it here at our farm to keep things a little bit more simple, not overcomplicate things. But the technology's all there in this box to do that. And they're also sending a what they call a lift kit. So every time I lift my drill up, it will stop marking on the field. So only the stuff I've dropped the drill down onto will get marked on the field. That'll be really handy. That saves me marking everywhere unnecessarily. But the tramline feature, very good. Yeah, you know, they got it all figured out. And if you're thinking, oh, you know, if you're worried about moving the yellow line, you can move this yellow line at any time to suit where your tram lines are. So no issues there at all. Yeah, you know, these things just make your life so much easier. And the little features they keep offering. We can also put on U-turn now, because we got the boundary marked out. Because we're on an implement on the back, heavy seed in the tank, it doesn't do so well trying to turn itself around at the end. I'm using independent brakes to get myself turned around. But if you had a trailed drill, oh, that would be lovely. You just hit the left and right button. That'd be so easy. I'm not joking. That would be lovely. You can drill all your tram lines in one go. If you're on a tram line, it will do all your tram lines, so you can go out and fill your tram lines in first, if that's how you do your field. or you can do it pass to pass, up and down, up and down. Yeah, very simple, but there we go, it's all working beautiful. I haven't quite reached the end of the field, but I'll just show you this because I've just been away to go fill up with seed, filled up with fuel, check the seed spouts, make sure everything's good with the drill. We've come back and we are still bang on our mark. It's not that visible, unfortunately, for you. And we are still... Now usually when you're using S-Bass or even earlier versions, what will happen is this line, you have to imagine it as a line across the field. When you go away for a period of time, the line is always shifting ever so slowly. So I was half expecting the line to be either this side or a little bit too far this side, but it hasn't budged an inch. It's moment of truth time. We're on the second to last pass. We're just about to come up to the very last pass and we'll see where we fit in. I've got a feeling it's going to be very close, if not bang on. We're just about to come out. Very last pass of the field. This will be interesting. Drill's going in. I thought we would be miles away from that scratch line. Look at that. How does that... I need to just re-say that this is a free service. This is a free and this is satellite service. And it is right on the money. I personally didn't think it was going to do that. I thought we would be one side or the other and have a big skip down the, have one last, you know, miss to cover in, but I can't quite believe that. There we go, proof's in the pudding. Look at it, filling up on the screen. That is damn near as good as our RTK service. Now, would it be the same if we came back tomorrow? Would it put us in the exact same wheelings? I don't know. We'll have to test that as we go on, but for a free service, that's unbelievable. That's the free PPP service. That surprised me in a massive way, to the point where I'll be showing Farmer doing some more testing, and we might, if it's going to be like that, we might end up doing away with our subscription costs, because that's crazy. There we go, we are finished. Get ourselves off the field. I can't believe how accurate that's turned out to be. I've been going to get seed, I've gone to go and get fuel, and in those times, you know, that's 20 minutes sometimes when you're away. Unbelievable. It marks the field out perfect. That was a 35-acre field when you take the pond out, and my seed rate is absolutely spot on as well, so I'm actually going to be leaving that PPP on. Anyway, just to finish up, love the Tramline feature. That is that's very, very good, especially in the spring when we come to drill tramlines. The accuracy has surprised me. I cannot believe how accurate that is for a free service. I was expecting to see a miss or a skip at the end there. The Headland feature, that needs some more work. The guys there will be watching that. They just need to smooth out the line that goes around the Headland pass, and then the tractor would steer itself a lot smoother. It seems to be, it just records itself in sort of blocks, so it ends up being quite jerky around the field. They got ultra slow speed, but we don't need that. That's for sort of like people that harvesting potatoes and stuff like that. The Isobus we don't use, but it's all there, and if it's that accurate with PPP, the Isobus, you know, you could go sectional control on that and be very happy, I imagine. So yeah, what a bit of kit. The straight line accuracy on PPP was very good, very happy, unbelievable. There we go, that's it. That's the spring update for you. I hope you like that one. If you're thinking about getting one, you know, it's a no-brainer. We've been using this thing for coming up 3 years. We've got a new system coming from Sveaverken. It's called the F100H, which stands for hydraulic. So basically it comes with a screen. You don't have this motor here. You can keep your original tractor wheel. You have to have steer ready tractor, which means it's already fitted with a proportional valve in the tractor. It's a monitor from Sveaverken. It's a dome, and then you connect your harness to the steering valve at the front, and then you've got hydraulic steering controlled by your monitor there. So even if you just don't like your current setup with your original manufacturer's one, you can do away with it, put this screen in, put the dome on top, connect it to the valve, and you're away. We're actually going one more step further, and we're going to make a non-steer ready tractor steer ready by adding a steering valve to it as well. So that's going to be coming up soon. It might be a month or two before we get it all up and running. There'll be some it's a little bit more challenging adding a valve to the tractor, but you know, it's not undoable. Very impressive. There we go. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll leave a link down to the Sveaverken kit in the comments if you want to have a look at that, and we'll catch you on the next one.